I guess, how did the Notre Dame game give you, allow you to assess some things and give you some priorities going into the off week?
Gave us a lot to work on, that's for sure. Some glaring issues that come up when you play a really good team, really good offense, a really physical offense like that. They show, and they show heavy. It gave us the opportunity to look at our weaknesses, both from a schematic standpoint, from, if we're playing something a certain way, certain players playing a certain way, technique that's not working. You're able to kind of get some extra time to evaluate, and then when things happen like they did the other weekend, there's a lot to look at and there's a lot to evaluate. It's not a good thing, but a lot of looking in the mirror at a lot of different things.
When they hit that bomb over the top to start the game, I guess, how does that throw off what you had planned strategically? Because then it seemed like it puts you in a tough spot, like protecting against that, but then also.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, but it's what our job is. We got to figure out ways to stop, cover up weaknesses while doing enough to stop what they're doing. It's cover up weaknesses, but it's not just stand there and don't do anything. I think mindset-wise, for myself personally, I have to let things like that go a little bit. Good players make plays, and I got to count on our players to also make plays. So just the fact that we get beat on the first play because of lack of technique, lack of discipline on many levels, many levels. There are really the side of the field that is not involved in the play on that one, they caused the play. You see one guy running after a receiver going down the field, and yeah, Tony was supposed to cover him, right? 0 versus 0, should have been there, should have been in better leverage, better position. But the whole reason for them throwing that football was because of the other side of the field and the way they looked, and they were wrong. So we have to learn to play together. But you see things like that. Why is he throwing that? Why is it looking like? Why are we getting certain things? Certain people are, whether it's giving things away or lining up the wrong way to invite things. We have to work on playing together, and that includes those alignments. That includes how do I look before the snap. What kind of keys am I giving people? So we've worked a lot on that.
As you said before, you guys have tried a lot of things schematically here, especially these last couple of weeks. There's a lot of guys rotating into the game, a lot of bodies. Does that start to tighten up, do you think, as we go forward? Or
it depends. It depends on the position, on the player, on who it is and why they're in. I would say, if there's a position where two people are playing well, then, there's no tightening it up there. But some of it is we're looking for someone to play well. So in positions where you're looking for someone to play well, those can continually change. At some point, somebody's got to answer the bell. And if they're not, then it's our job to find somebody who can or coach that person to do that. So if there's a consistent not being able to answer the call, then, yeah, we'll continue to find what's going to work.
Just when you look at Luke Altmire, what challenges does he possess as a runner, as a passer? You've seen several different kinds of quarterbacks now, and it's kind of all of them packaged together.
Yeah, I think he's a great decision maker. I think he runs their offense well. Like you said, his feet are active. He can use them if he needs them. But it's a lot of his real ability in their offense is the decision making part, and it is getting them in the right plays when they need to. Understanding where to look, how to get the ball out quick when they need to, what run plays to maybe check into. He's a skilled quarterback, right? So he's playing the game with the coordinator. Both of them are playing together, and they're going to look and they're going to check when they feel like they can get into something that's advantageous. And he's going to look around, and if he feels like he knows what you're doing, he's going to get the ball out quick, and he's going to go to the right place with it. Very talented quarterback. Kind of got to keep him guessing a little bit.
We talked to Miles Slusher before we came in here, and he said he took a year off. Can you see some benefits from that? Just kind of a fresher body when he got here?
No. Nobody's ever gotten better from taking a year off, ever. Nobody gets better from taking a day off. You don't get better from taking 2 days off. So a year is like, no, we're playing like catch up. There ain't nothing better about that. And then you go back a year before that. I don't know. He didn't play the whole year before that either. He played a little bit, but no, that's for a football player. I mean, if I didn't call plays for 2 years and you said, hey, here you go, whew, good luck, you know? So no, to answer your question.
And then just the last thing, the off week, how much did this defense really maybe need that to reassess some things? You talk about having to do some soul searching, but you didn't have a game last Saturday, so you had more time than usual to do that.
Yeah, you know, it's never fun. No one ever wants to sit there and evaluate something and say, okay, what are all the problems, right? And you got to look at yourself. Like I said, look in the mirror. What are the problems? What can we do to fix problems? What can we do to help problems? I just, you know, it gave us a lot of time to sit back and really, truly evaluate, right? Like nobody's feelings are getting hurt, nothing like that. There's no egos, there's no nothing. It's we look at it and we say, okay, here's what we've done, here's what's been good, here's what's been bad. What do we do moving forward? You know, how do we move forward and play better? So the extra time gives you that time. Right, it's not some weeks when you're playing. I can look at that. We can look at that for a day and a half, and then you got to go scheme up another team. Now we got time to really look in the mirror and say, you know, what's worked, what hasn't, why, and then go back and then pick from the things that maybe we've done and say, here's what we need to do more of, here's what we need to do less of, and then through that schematically, okay. When we call this play, this offensive concept is hurting us in this play. Okay, well, let's get some reps at it. Let's work at it. Let's figure out a way that we can fix it. Okay, this play is giving up 5 yards every run. Okay, let's just have 10 minutes where we play every run possible to this call and we go fix it. It gives you time to do that. So I think that was the big upside of the week off and being able to fix things and what we looked at and how we looked at it.
Coach, how do you replace T.J. Lindsey?
By committee. Now we have I think, in my opinion, at that position, we have some talented individuals. So I think we have the skill, we have the bodies, we have the people. It is going to be, you know, somebody's got to step up. There's going to be the desire to want to go play and to want to play well. And then also the realization of somebody else get an opportunity, and it's my opportunity, and I got to make the most of it. So, you know, I think there's several people there. D'Amico Kennedy, Ian. I think they're both really good players. So I think they could both fill that role. You know, TJ was a great player, steady presence for us on defense. Hate that he's gone. Hate that it happened. You know, wishing him the best in his recovery, but we got guys that can step up that I'm confident in.
What do you think, if there's one singular thing you've learned the most about your defense through 4 games, what would that one singular thing be?
That we're fighters. You know, we're going to fight. It may not be pretty. You know, there's times it's not pretty. There's times we may be out of position, but the guys go fight. And so with that, I think we understand as a coaching staff that every day, because of who we have and their makeup mentally, that we can push them to fix our mistakes. We can push them as hard as they need to be pushed in order to get the results we need. And I also think, you know, through that, if you're a fighter, you're a competitor. All this stuff we're talking about with making changes, making fixes, just put me out there for a second. There's times I've had to look in the mirror and say, not a good play call. Okay, well, everybody in the room also at some point has to look at themselves and say, I'm not doing this up to this standard I'm supposed to be doing it at. Okay, well, some people, when they hear that, hey, you're not, this isn't what we expect. Okay, well, you hear that, some guys can cower, can go in the corner, get angry, go in the locker room, start moaning and complaining to their teammates, and then it gets worse. We have a room that You tell them something, they see it, they understand it, they know that it's what they have to do to make our team better, make our defense better. And I'm met with when I stand up in front of them, I'm met with kind of a look of confidence of, I understand what I did and I'm going to go get it fixed. And I think that has given me a lot of, confidence, whatever you want to call it, to really make sure that as a coaching staff, we are doing everything we possibly can to put these guys in the right position because they want it. You know, there's no lack of desire. There's no lack of wanting to fix things. There's no pointing fingers. There's no, well, he's not doing his job, I'm doing my job. It's all, what can I do better to make us better? And that's what I've seen this past week, and you know, I think that's what I've learned the most about our defense is that we're gonna do what we got to do to try and get right.